Welcome to Starcanum, where we are obsessed with Star Wars Unlimited. I'm Ryan, and I'm so glad you're here because we're getting into the holiday spirit with a little red and green deck that is built around giving out gifts, by which I mean experience counters, coming from Santa Claus himself, good old Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's take a look. Okay, here we are, and like I said, we're getting in the holiday spirit with green and red. So our leader is Obi-Wan Kenobi from Legends of the Force, and he's going to have an ability here that lets us give an experience token to a unit without an experience token on it, and all it will cost us is the Force. How do we get the Force? That's going to come from our base, Fortress Vader, which says when a friendly Force unit attacks, the Force is with you. So if you've not seen the Force yet, you can have the Force like as a token. You can only hold one of them at a time, so you can't bank this up and spend it all later. And every time we attack with a unit who is a Force unit, we will refill the Force, and then we'll use our leader to spend it, or some of the other cards in the deck can spend it for various effects as well. So of course that means we want access to a lot of Force units, and that starts on turn 1 with Gunji, or perhaps Adigalia, or Luke Skywalker. And if we don't have one of those, then I guess we're going into space with this Phoenix Squadron A-Wing. But the plan is usually to stick one of these Force guys on the ground and let that kick off our game plan. On turn 2, we want to support them either by playing Maz Kanata and pushing extra damage, or playing Obi-Wan Kenobi to keep our Force units coming and give ourselves a Sentinel, or we've got a Marin in here, which is situationally useful, but it was nice to have just another 3-cost ground unit, and this one is capable of getting us that Force token when she attacks. Now, it's worth noting for 3, we also have a Cassian Andor, who mostly is there to be smuggled out at 5, just to give us a ready attacker, and if we use him with Obi-Wan's ability, he can actually usually hit for 4 in a lot of cases, which is pretty great. We also have the blue leaders in here, but usually you're saving those until you have 5 resources as well, so that they can do their little trick where they fly down to the ground and ambush something as a 5/5. The 4-cost Force units, though, are going to be Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is awesome because he can spend the Force when you play him and immediately draw you 2 new cards, which is really good. And then we've also got a few copies of Eth Koth in here. Very rarely do I use his when defeated ability to ramp. It's not really that type of deck. I just needed like a 5-powered Force unit that can attack pretty strongly and deal some damage and really put pressure on the opponent's base. Jumping back over to space, though, we've also got Bright Hope at the 4-cost, which it's mostly just there to kind of shore us up against some of the space-heavy decks. It's good to have a nice beefy Sentinel, and you can use Obi-Wan's ability to put an experience on this, right? You don't have to put it only on Force or ground units, so you can turn this into a 3/7, and that can sit there and tank a ton of damage. When we reach 5, though, then we're looking to play maybe Chewbacca. Again, not a Force unit, but he's very sticky, right? The control decks have a hard time getting rid of him, and really most decks just have to kill him. And if you can use your leader to give an experience to him and turn him into like a 6/7, then he's basically unstoppable and could probably win you the game outright. Going up even further, up into the 6s, you get access to Mace Windu. Now, this is another unit that can use the Force when played. If you do, you deal 4 damage to a unit, so he can snipe stuff up in space or hit stuff on the ground. Very flexible. He's great. And then at the top of our curve, we've got Kelleran Beck coming in at 7. And when he's played, you get to search the top 7 of your deck for a unit, reveal it, play it. It costs 3 less. So I like to pair that up with maybe Obi-Wan coming in. So I've got a heavy hitter and a Sentinel that's kind of protecting me or the rest of my board. Or sometimes you can pull a Maz, so you immediately get to attack with another readied Force unit. You can do some really cool stuff with Kelleran, and I just like having him in the deck. Oh, one other 5-cost I missed was actually Asajj. When you play her, she gets to give another friendly Force unit +2/+0 for the whole phase. That works really great on Obi-Wan, because then you get a buffed up Sentinel, or put it on your leader so you can attack for a ton of damage. This is just another flexible, beefy, attack-driven unit that we're happy to play on curve. And then filling out the rest of the deck, we've got Open Fire in case we need to just, kill something on sight. We've got 2 copies of Yoda's lightsaber, which use the Force to heal our base for 3, More importantly, though, this only costs 2, and it gives something an extra 3 power. And this is a very aggressive deck. We want to just hit hard, hit fast, buff up our guys with the Force, and just keep the pressure on. But having a little bit of healing in there can also help us go the extra turn to the point where we can maybe slam down Kelleran and get our footing back if we need to. I do also have General's Blade in here right now. I don't love it. It's mostly just, again, to get +3 power on somebody. If you don't have General's Blade, you can use, Knight's Saber, which I think gives +3/+2. You can only put that on Jedi, so you couldn't give it to, like, Chewbacca in a pinch, although I do like sometimes giving him General's Blade. Again, I'm less interested in the on attack ability, which reduces the cost of our next thing. Very rarely are we trying to ramp or jump the curve here. We just want to play bodies on every turn that just push damage themselves. So this is mostly just here for the buffs, in which case there are cheaper alternatives. And then the last card in here that I think is pretty spicy, I don't see this one played really anywhere, but it's been working great for me, is the Burden of Masters, right? So this is a 1-cost event that says put a Force unit from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck. If you do, play a unit from your hand and give 2 experience tokens to it. So that might seem like, well, if you do that, you can't use Obi-Wan's ability to give experience to that thing, so it's a non-bow, right? It's not a combo. They don't work together. But in truth, I mean, you play like Gunji, the next turn you buff up Gunji, then they kill your Gunji, so then you use Burden of Masters to put Gunji on the bottom of your deck, which lets you play like a huge Ki-Adi-Mundi or a huge Chewbacca or something, and that can like be really good, because an extra +2/+2 really adds up on a lot of these units. So I'm hoping to show you how this all works here today as we, again, get into the holiday spirit and try to hand out some gifts to Obi-Wan and his Jedi friends. So let's see how it goes. Okay, looks like our first match is going to be against a Admiral Piet, but yellow, which I don't see very often. And we have an Adi, and then a Maz, and then like Kelleran. So this is a little risky, but like we have to hit our turn 1 and 2 and just attack as aggressively as possible. So I think we actually keep this. We're going to resource one of the Mazes and one of the Kellerans and see if this will let us go the distance. All right, so we get to open with Adigalia. I'm still not entirely sure how you pronounce this one, but she's a 2-cost 2/4. And whenever an opponent plays an event, we get to deal damage to their base. So that seems pretty good against the deck that wants to resupply and overwhelming barrage and stuff. I mean, that's going to add up, right? And their Cloud Rider here isn't even strong enough to deal with her, so I like that. I still also think we're going to keep the plan of playing Maz here. I don't know how good Blue Leader actually is going to end up being, so we're going to resource that. We're going to play Maz, which says when played you may attack with a Force unit. It gets +2/+0. So since Adi is a Force unit, that's 4 to base, and we are off to the races. Now we just have to decide if we want to use Obi-Wan to buff up somebody, which I think we do. I mean, again, the whole point is to just put as much damage on the opponent as possible. And they throw their Cloud Rider in, which is totally fine. All right, so going into 4 resources here. I mean, obviously we still can't play Kelleran. We could do Open Fire or Gunji. I kind of want to keep this Chewbacca for next turn. So what do I want to give up here? I guess Open Fire is probably not doing a ton for us. And I think here the first move is Adi in first. Maximize their damage. They give up the Super Laser Tech, which is going to become a resource. So now they're at 5, which means they can deploy Piet and then play like a 7-cost thing. So I think we will give another experience to Maz here. All right, and they just play a Assault Frigate instead of deploying their leader, which I love because that lets us get in for 4 more. And now, so here, because Adi is dead, we can use Burden of Masters, put her on the bottom of our deck, and play our Gunji as a 4/7. And like that seems pretty good. At this point, we can resource the second Gunji. So they haven't managed to hit us at all yet. Obviously, the 6 a turn from this Assault Frigate is going to add up pretty quickly. But, I mean, we're just going to have to race as best as we can. This turn, we can deploy our leader and put down Chewbacca, which adds a ton of power to the board. And if they flip Piet first, it really becomes a tough decision, right? Because do we attack him with bolt? Well, I mean, he ended up just killing somebody. So, oh, he waylaid our Gunji, so we lose the experience counters. That's actually fine. We're still just going to pour the damage on the base. So they're at 15 out of 30. They're half dead. They deploy their leader, as expected. So I think here we'll deploy ours. And they attack into Obi-Wan. Interesting. I think I'm going to put down Chewbacca, because now I can hit the base, get the Force, give an experience to Chewbacca, and then pass. All right, we've got a Cassian. He's going into the resources. Could be useful for those last 3 or 4 points of damage. Turbo laser salvo. Okay. So choose an arena. Friendly space unit deals damage equal to its power. So they dealt 5 damage to everything. So now it's a question of, do we use Chewbacca to kill Piet? I guess he's not really a threat. Yeah, so we got to deal 6 with Chewbacca, and then Piet trades off with Chewbacca, but now they're at 24 and we're at 0, and we've got 6. So I think we use Ki-Adi-Mundi, and we'll even spend the Force to draw 2 more cards. And then I think we'll even put down Adi-Gallia here. So now collectively we've got enough power on board to kill him, but if they have like barrage or another salvo or something, I mean, we're still not in great shape, but I mean, we're putting in the work, right? Like, we're handing out gifts, we're doing damage. All right, they had another salvo. Okay, well, I mean, honestly, that's not the worst, because we can Kelleran, and we can grab an Obi-Wan, so that puts 10 power on the board. And they have to claim, so yeah, okay. Right, I don't love most of the, like, I don't know, we have enough to attack and kill with Kelleran. If they do have an answer for Kelleran, we can put the lightsaber on Obi-Wan. I don't think we need Marin here. I guess Marin's better than Gunji. Actually, the opponent realizes there's nothing they can do. So there we go, that's a win for Santa Claus Obi-Wan. Let's see if we can get another one. Okay, this time it put us up against a Yoda Data Vault deck, which is one of the grindiest, biggest decks out there, but we won the flip, so we're going to start with the initiative here. And I like what I see, because we can go Luke into Maz, push a lot of early damage, refill our hand with Ki-Adi-Mundi. We've even got Cassian here, so we're keeping this hand. We're going to resource Cassian and probably resource the Gunji. I mean, we want as much offensive power as we can get, so we'll go with Luke. And the opponent has no turn 1 play, so they're just going to take the initiative, which probably means, like, Village Protectors or something super annoying is about to come down, but what can we do? I'm going to resource my Adi-Gallia here, again, intending to play Maz into Ki-Adi-Mundi, and we've already got a Kelleran on standby for late game, which we'll probably reach because this deck has a lot of restore. Okay, so they actually claimed and then passed, which is very odd. I guess we'll play Maz and get in for 5? And they just have a Gonk. Okay, so I think I want to just claim here because now I can just kill that Gonk. Yeah, nothing's really ending up dead, so Burden of Masters I guess we can resource safely. I think we send Maz in to kill the Gonk. And like now comes the Village Protectors. Okay, that's actually not too bad because I can give Luke the experience, so he will now survive this attack to pop the shield. They're gonna do their Yoda thing where they get to look at the top card and then put something back. So really we gotta watch out for You're My Only Hope. Like somehow with Data, even with Data Vault, the Yoda deck always has You're My Only Hope, and they always hit like a Luke off the top every time. Okay, so we spent the Force to buff up Luke. Luke will pop the shield. We get the Force back, and then we're gonna play Ki-Adi-Mundi and spend the Force again to draw 2 more cards. So I like having more cards in hand than the control deck. That makes it harder for them to like answer our stuff 1 for 1. Blue leader's pretty good. Adi, I mean, Yeah, I guess we don't really need the Obi-Wan Sentinel. Like, I don't think we're really on the defense on this game. I really just want to push as much damage as we can, and being that we're at 5, this might either be like open fire Adigalia turn or Asajj with our leader deploy. We have a lot of options here, which is pretty good. They had a traitorous for the Luke. Sure. Okay, if that's how you want to spend your entire turn, opponent, I'm fine with that. I guess in that case... we use Ki-Adi-Mundi to hit the village protectors. Because now they have to decide if they want to use this Luke to kill an already exhausted unit or to trade with Maz, but she has less power anyway. Alright, so they just hit base, which is fine, but they are out of resources. So we are going to... Let's see, I think we give an experience token to Maz. They're going to do their Yoda ability, which again lets them draw a card, then put a card on top or bottom of their deck. I'm not too worried about that, because now we get to deploy Obi-Wan. I'm going to even play Asajj and give Obi-Wan the buff. And so now, I guess I want to hit the base, regain the force. We'll give an experience to Asajj. And it's just a question of, do I want to knock out this Luke and leave them with nothing, or do I want to put 4 more damage on their base? I think I want to do that, because otherwise they get to kill, like, Ki-Adi-Mundi. So we'll just do that and then pass. Alright, probably don't need double open fire, so we'll resource one of those. And like, this is the false sense of security that this deck falls into, right? Like, I feel like we're in a good spot. We've got 13 power on board, really 15 once Asajj attacks and gives the buff to somebody else. But like, this deck has so many, sentinels or healing or just a lot of answers. So now we got to figure out how we get through Captain Typho. Unfortunately, he's just a little too big to hit with an open fire. I could bring down Blue Leader with ambush. That actually seems pretty good. So we'll play Blue Leader, pay 2 resources, move it down to the ground, trigger the ambush. This will kill Typho. They get to disclose a green and a white card, which is another copy of Typho. So they heal 1. That's fine. There's not a lot they can do with just the 2 remaining resources. Alright, so they're doing their Yoda thing, so we'll go Asajj into the base first. She'll give Obi-Wan +2. I mean, opponent is going to get to... Ooh, okay, so their last 2 resources they spent on Spark of Hope to turn that defeated Typho into a resource, which means they can now deploy this Yoda. And when they do, they'll get to reveal a top card and potentially kill something. So, I mean, I want to attack first with Obi-Wan because he can give an experience down to Ki-Adi-Mundi, but Yoda's ability could probably just kill Ki-Adi-Mundi. But I don't think it works on leaders. I'm still going to go for Obi-Wan first. I mean, it's the most valuable way to do it. Alright, they bring out Yoda. They reveal a 6-cost resupply carrier, and yeah, they kill Ki-Adi-Mundi, unfortunately, so we don't get the attack with him, but that's okay. We'll just claim here. Let's see what they want to do with their Yoda. I mean, he's got Restore 2. So he could hit Blue Leader and kill it. That's what I would do. Okay. Unfortunately, now he's in range of this open fire, which is probably the best move. Other option would be to play Kelleran back and try to find like a Maz and immediately attack with somebody. But I kind of like just killing this Yoda before it can restore anymore, so we'll do that. Unfortunately, that now sets them up for like a Luke. It'll get the -6/-. They always have it. They always have the Luke. Insane, insane. Okay, well, so we've got 4 resources and the Force. So I think The play here is to diversify and play Adi and this A-Wing. And we'll get in. It doesn't matter if we give someone the bonus, they won't get to use it. All right, so they're at 24 out of 33, thanks Data Vault. And they do have inarguably one of the best cards in the game. Actually, this Luke might make for a good pilot. I don't think we need Bright Hope here. So fortunately, as it stands, Luke cannot kill Asajj. So I don't know if they're just going to swing into the base or try to knock out Adi first. At this point, every extra resource that we can feed into Kelleran becomes even better. They had a Vanquish to answer our Asajj. Okay, that's actually fine because they still took a damage from Adi. So now we could Kelleran and try to get the Obi-Wan Sentinel to stop this Luke. I think we just attack. Let's see what they want to do. They have a Bright Hope. Interesting. Okay. So we can put Luke on here and actually punch right through that. Which I kind of like. And now they've used up all their resources and all their attacks, and we still have 5 left to spend. So we can play a blue leader and hit Luke for 5 and leave him within range of Adi to finish off, or we could just play Ki-Adi-Mundi and draw 2 more cards. I think I like doing that more. Pick up a lightsaber, 2 lightsabers actually, those are great. Yeah, and then we'll just pass. Okay, and now we've got Mace and Bright Hope, which I still don't think we really need. They have a Rival's Fall. Nope, they're rolling it back because that would kill the ship, but Luke would pop out and become a ground unit, so that's not a great use of their removal. Yeah, they're gonna do it anyway, so we get Luke on the ground. Okay, I'll take that. So I think this is General's Blade time on Ki-Adi-Mundi. We'll make him into a 7/7, so he could kill Luke, or we could just swing to the base. They have a Village Protectors, love it. Huh, okay. What do we do about that? I think we just hit it with Adi, get the Force back, because now we could play Mace. Yeah, we'll play Mace Windu, use his ability to spend the Force to deal 4 damage, which lets us kill the Sentinel. And now they get to do their Yoda thing again, but like, we have so many good threats on the board, and we could just hit for 7. Puts them at 29. Okay. And then I think we will even use Obi-Wan's ability to put an experience on Luke. So now all of these minus Adi are lethal. I mean, obviously Luke is going to attack first and restore them for a bunch, so it doesn't quite work out, but as it stands, we're in a really good spot. And then we pick up a Maz, which works with everybody on our board and adds 2 more points of damage. So that will... Oh God. They're just delaying the inevitable. Okay, that's actually still fine because we can crack that shield, and then the Overwhelm from Mace is still a very good attack here. I mean, obviously Luke is going to swing in first and probably hit the Mace and kill the Mace. But then we still pop the Sentinel and kill them with our Ki-Adi-Mundi. So I think no matter what they do, we got this one. Although they do have 7 resources left, so they could have any other number of Sentinels here. So maybe the play is actually bring in Blue Leader and ambush to knock out the Sentinel that way. So now I've got 2 attackers. Alright, Typho. Okay, so I think we can still Maz to attack. And that Gives me just enough power to defeat the Typho. They get to heal 1. They're at 25. Okay. Okay, I think we're all right because I can... I need to deal 8. I can give Gadimundian experience because he doesn't have one yet. And so this will be exactly enough. Opponent says, good game. We did it. We fought through one of the most insane, grindy, difficult decks that there is. And we got there. So GG, opponent. On to the next one. Okay, if that Yoda match was at one end of the competitive spectrum, I guess Sabine is at the other. This is a really aggressive and fast deck that is going to tear us up. And our opening hand is really just like a Luke into a blue leader, which isn't terrible. I guess we can try and keep it. Probably not going to live long enough for this Keller and Beck. I think I do want Bright Hope in case they are a space version of Sabine and go with like the A-Wings. And then so we probably aren't going to need Burden of Masters for a while either. Alright, so they are starting in space with the A-Wing. We're going to start on the ground with Luke. Let's see. Oh, they don't do the ping. Okay, so... Alright, so this is good. If we've got Adi, a lightsaber to heal, we can use Blue Leader to knock out this A-Wing. So maybe we don't need Bright Hope because our 4 resource turn is going to be spent on those 2 cards. Yeah, we're going to get in with Luke first, get the Force. They just play a Cassian straight up. Love to see it. Blue Leader will just ambush. Knock that out. Now, unfortunately, even if we put an experience on Luke, Cass still kills it. And I think we want to be able to play Yoda's lightsaber and use the Force for that. So we're going to save our Force token. Another Burden of Masters. I mean, that is good. Is that better than, like, Chewbacca? I mean, we're still not really playing this until we're at 6 resources, probably, right? Because we're going to do a 4, a 5, and then one of these has a 6. So, yeah, I guess we don't need Chewbacca. Ugh, we're keeping Burden of Masters. So, as expected, they killed Luke. That's fine. We'll get in for 3. Hope they don't play another space unit. Okay, Karis Nemec, fine. I guess we go with Adi here. And then we will give her Yoda's lightsaber, trigger the heal on our own base. And so now she is big enough that she can handle their whole board. Even with the Jar Jar buff, that's actually fine. Yeah, we get to claim. Opponent can hit our base for just 4, or they can start working on Adigalia. Okay, cool. So I don't need this second one. And yeah, they sent Sabine into Adi, which just got Sabine killed because once Jar Jar's buff wore off, she only has 5 health. Okay. So I think step 1 is attack for 5. And get the Force back. Opponent, is this an ECL? Yeah, okay, so by using their ECL and Sabine's Masterpiece, they had a green unit, so they were able to put an experience on that. That's going to be kind of annoying, but survivable. So now it's a question of, do we deploy the leader? I guess so. And then we'll play Asajj to buff him and just keep putting damage on the base. Although they could send both of these into him. They didn't. Okay, cool. So now we get to play Asajj. Really, I think they should have sent Cassian and Karis in to kill Obi-Wan and then get the spy token. Because now, unless they've got extra help, no, they're just trying to race us on base damage, which I don't know if they're going to be able to win since we're going to start buffing people up. Yeah, they don't even bother to attack with Jar Jar. They just claim. And they've already used ECL, so I'm not even super worried about like Wrecker or Poe here. Yeah, and the opponent did the math. They can't keep up. So there you go. 3 awesome games, 3 easy wins. Let's take one more look at the deck and do some final thoughts. All right, so I think the MVPs were probably just like Luke or Adigalia, right? Like having those 2-cost force units that just hit the ground, get to attack, get to start generating the force, and then, you buff them up with Maz, or you support them with the Obi-Wan, or you hand them a lightsaber so they can just keep punching above their own weight class. I mean, that's really what this deck is designed to do. Play little dudes, buff them up with the gifts from the leader, or from Burden of Masters, or the buffs from Maz, or from, where is she? Asajj. All these little pieces kind of come together in a way that allows you to just hit a little harder than you should be able to do. And if you can keep that pressure on your opponent, you can bleed out their base pretty quickly. And really, it's a pretty budget-friendly deck. I know there are some rares in here. I mean, Yoda's lightsaber doesn't have to be here, but I think we saw how nice it is to have some healing and to get the +3 power. Those are both really good. General's Blade, though, a similar thing, but that's also going to rotate out in March. And by the way, let me know if you want me to do a video talking about rotation and what that's going to mean for this game. I don't know if everyone really understands what that's all about, so we can talk about that as well. But you could just make these 2 lightsabers that are 2 and 2 right now, just do 3 copies of Knight's Saber or whatever, if that's what you've got. Like, you don't have to play those. I think you really do want the Luke Skywalkers, though. I mean, those are rare, and there really isn't any other thing at that price point that really does what he does. I mean, I guess you could play like Jedi Consular. That's a green force unit that only costs 2, but it's like a 1/4. And we really want to be using the force to buff up people. And even if you use it to buff up the consular, he just becomes like another Gunji, right? He becomes a 2/5. So it's not worth it to me. So I would invest in the Lukes for sure. The lightsabers can be whatever. Burden of Masters is your other rare. And this one, it's nice to have. You don't have to have it. There are other ways to put experience on things. There's other ways to elevate the attack power of your people. So don't sweat if you can't make this exact list. And then Eathcoth, I guess, is also a rare, but I only have 2 copies in here just because I wanted something else that cost 4. But again, you don't really need him. He's just a nice 5 power attacker. I mean, you could fill that spot with almost anything as long as it's also able to generate the force. I mean, that's kind of the other important part that does make it a little difficult to find alternatives here, but you're creative. I'm sure you can find a way around that. But yeah, that's the deck. I really like this one. I'm going to be taking it to my local store this week. This is probably the last time I'll get to play in store for this year, because our store plays on Wednesday nights, and next Wednesday is Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve, and then so I'll be busy with family stuff. But I think this will be a fun one to end the year on. I really like Obi-Wan as a character. I like a lot of these characters. I mean, Chewbacca is great. Luke is awesome. Having Yoda's lightsaber, Mace Windu. I mean, you gotta embrace the fun side of this game. And for me, that's all in the characters and the events and all the cool references to the movies and the comics and the books and video games and all of that stuff. So let me ask you this. What is your favorite card in this deck? What do you think we could do to make it even better? If you've got suggestions, let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the unlimited adventures we have here on Starcanum. And I'll see you next year.